control. Will you die for me? Will you take the blame? There's only fear. It's what remains. It's just through fear. You're gonna wish that you tried. Lose all control inside. No control. No control. No control. No control. No control. No control. No
Hello. Welcome to the Plowzone Gone Wild. And that was a killer video from Society One. Mr. Matt Zane is our guest today. How you doing, Matt?
Great. How are both of you this evening?
Good, good. And Miss Debbie Garcia, of course, right over here.
Hey, 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 welcome to Spirituality Gone Wild. It is the Plowzone Gone Wild, and we are here to rock out. I am loving that video. That was incredible. Matt is the lead singer of Society One, and you also, this is just, it's so powerful. No control. You're making a seriously powerful statement with that song.
Yeah, you know, that was a big pain in the butt making that video also. So I don't really like the song all that much anymore because it was so difficult putting the video together. So I'm tired of hearing it. Actually, it came out last year.
It's kind of like how we're living right now. No control. We have zero control of what's going on right now.
Yeah, you know, it kind of, I guess it could relate to that. But what's even more interesting is right when the pandemic started, within 2 days of the pandemic, the band, we released a lyric video called Save Us. So that was even more relevant to what was actually happening. And so we in San Diego, the night that they shut down all of California, and the venue decided to continue with the show. So we did the show, sold out, we were direct support for Static X, and afterwards we did a really big interview for a Mexican television station. And without even knowing it, they said to us, they go, "How did you know this was going to happen?" I go, "What do you mean? How did we know what?" They go, "Your new song, it's called Save Us." Like, how did you know the world was going to get hit with the pandemic? And I'm like, I don't know. It just happened. They're like, we need, this song is like the theme for the pandemic. And who would have known that really it was supposed to be the theme song for all of 2020 for all the stuff that's going on.
We need some saving right about now, boy.
Yeah, so if you haven't heard it, definitely check. It's a lyric video. It's not a full video, but nevertheless, you can. The chorus says something like along the lines of, "Oh God, please save us." So there you go.
Definitely.
Okay, so I just queued it up, and
did you?
I just queued it up, and we could definitely check this out here in a second. You were going to ask a question, but I'm now what it is like you've got this new fan over here that's just rocking out with you, Matt. So I'm like dying to hear more. I'm loving this. So yeah, I definitely want to play that in a minute. Hey everybody who's joining us right now. We are rocking out tonight with Matt Zane from Society One. We're going to be listening to some incredible music. Mr. Reece, what was it you were going to ask, dear?
I was going to say that Matt has some new material coming out with a guy named DMC, a new video called The Man that's going to be released next month.
And for those, I don't want people to get confused. It's DMC of the world famous group Run DMC, not DMX. You said it right. DMC.
DMC. Yes. From Run DMC, definitely. It's called The Man. That'll be coming out. And a new video that you directed from Static X, correct?
Yeah, the last one that just came out is called All These Years. It just came out last week, so you can see that on YouTube right now. And I co-directed that video, as well as I was the director of photography on it, and I did a lot of the editing and most of the effects on it also.
Now, we were talking earlier about how many bands' videos have you done? A lot. Yeah, I heard John 5, Orgy, and Static X, and who else?
Wayne Static. I did something for Zach Wild. Pretty Boy Floyd, Motor Grader, 5 John 5 music videos. The next 5 Static X videos I co-directed. Yeah, it's hard to keep track, quite honestly. I've done over 200 videos, so wow. It's really tough to remember all of them, quite honestly.
Gotcha.
Okay, so the one that would have nailed me to the wall would have been you mentioned. Oh my God! Now his name's gonna like escape me. Rob Zombie.
Yeah, so I did. So Rob Zombie's guitar player is John 5, and mostly Rob Zombie directs his own music videos. But John 5 has his solo stuff besides Rob, and I did. I think I did 5 videos for John 5, and then I did. Then I co-directed another video with a guy from Disney for his last video called Zoinks, which is really worth checking out. It's an animated video. That was the last one that I did for him. So like 6 total.
That's totally cool. And the first time I saw White Zombie, are you guys ready for this? It was like 1994. I saw with White Zombie and Danzig on Halloween night.
Nice.
On Halloween night, it was killer. It was in Orange County at it used to be the Verizon Amphitheater. Do you remember? Nice. Yeah, or it actually was something before that too. But it was the Irvine Meadows, I think. Is that what it was called back in the day?
I'm not an LA person.
Oh, that's right. You're not from LA. I forgot.
I'm not from LA.
I don't remember.
I forget what that. Well, I think because you're too young to know. But yeah, I mean, that's an impactful band. Speaking of impactful bands, I'm really itching to hear this song. So, are you cool with it if we play this really quick?
I mean, why don't you just play just like a verse and a chorus? You can feel it. It's only a lyric video, so it's not really that exciting. But yeah, check it out. At least like half of it or whatever.
Okay, and
check it out.
And then after that, let's talk about Sunglasses at Night, because I watched a little bit of that. Oh my God, it's so good! You guys don't even know. We've got serious badassery in the house tonight. I'm so stoked. I get a little excited.
Well, yes.
You have no idea. I can't help it.
There we go.
Oh, Jiminy Crickets. Hold on. I just did. So Debbie just did a technical blooper. Just excuse me for a moment.
I can edit it.
Did you? I technically bloopered myself.
Well,
Jiminy, I've really technically bloopered now.
Okay. So anyway, for those of you who are looking for Mr. Scott Plowman, Scott Plowman is on a sabbatical for a couple of weeks. He's taking a little time off. He's been he turned 50, so that was really a big thing for him. But he'll be back in a couple weeks, and we'll be back with the Plowzone. So you get to put up with me and Debbie's for right now. So
well, now that's not the worst thing in the world that could happen, but just because we love him.
This is true.
We love you, Scott Plowman, the Plowman, Plowzone Radio Show. So, in my blooper just now, I completely blew the video. So,
Do the video. Good job.
oh, well, hey. So I'll tell you what, let's talk about Sunglasses at Night because this is a badass song and it's a great remake. And your voice, Matt, just, man, you really, you have such a beautiful, you have so much, the word I'm looking for is like melodic. Is melodic a word?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's just I've just had one of those weird voices. It sometimes it really hits and sometimes it doesn't. But this just happened to be one of those songs that really people identified with. It's a great song. We remade it enough where we made it our own, but at the same time we kept very true to the original in terms of the melody. But all aspects of this song was incredibly interesting. I wanted to kind of give props to Corey for writing the song. In the videos, you'll see there's a point where I pick up the phone, the cell phone, and on the other line, actually Corey Hart from 1984 picks up the phone. And I'm listening to him sing me my version of the song back to me through the phone. And that was just one of the Easter eggs that we had in the video. If you look at the billboard in the beginning of the video, you'll see the original video playing behind my drummer's head. We had the throwback to the woman in the police uniform, the futuristic police uniform, to kind of throw back to the original 84 video. He was wearing a white shirt in the original video. I was wearing a black shirt. So there was a lot of different aspects to the video that we did to kind of as an homage to the original. And in addition to it, a lot of people don't know this, but we were the first music video ever to shoot the entirety of it on selfie sticks. And the reason being is the fact that we had to do it amidst the pandemic. And obviously you were not allowed to congregate, but you were allowed to walk up and down the street here in Los Angeles. That was the only thing we were allowed to do for almost 2 to 3 months here. So we actually went down to Hollywood Boulevard around 8 or 9 at night and just walked up and down the boulevard with selfie sticks while playing the song. And there was a tremendous police presence down there, but because of the fact that we weren't actually breaking any ordinances, we were actually walking, we weren't stopping, what we were doing was completely legal. And so it was the way that we found the way around the limitations and were able to actually get a music video out of it. And it really hit with people and really resonated with a lot of people. So really happy that we did it. It was something I wanted to do ever since I was a kid when I first heard that song on the radio. So I consider it a big win and really, really happy. We were just talking the other day, the band and I, when we were on the set for this last music video. I think we're gonna have to add that to our live shows.
Definitely.
Oh, yeah.
Definitely. Great song. Yeah, you did a great cover. Great cover to that song. Yes.
This is fabulous. So you all ready to listen to this cover? Because oh my gosh, you got to. By the way, Beverly Ann's just loving you. So
yeah, Beverly's great. She's been a fan for a bit.
Nice. So we ready to go with Sunglasses at Night by Society 1, Debbie?
We are ready to go with Sunglasses at Night by Society 1. Let me just get back over here. All right, everybody.
I wear my sunglasses at night so I can watch you wave and breathe the storylines. And I wear my sunglasses at night so I can keep track of the visions in my eyes. While she's deceiving me, because my security, and she got control of me, I turn to her and say, don't switch the plan on the guy in shades, oh no. Don't match the rain with the guy in shades, oh no. I can't believe it, 'cause you got it made with the guy in shades of blue. so I can proclaim my name on you, let you play. And I wear my sunglasses at night so I can see the light that's right before my eyes. While she's deceiving me, she cuts my security and she got control of me. I told her it's don't switch the flat on the guy in shades. Oh no, don't match my brain with the guy in shades. Oh no, I can't believe it. Don't be afraid with the guy in shades. Oh no, it can't escape you 'cause you got a man with the guy in shades. Oh no. I wear my sunglasses at night. I wear my sunglasses at night. I wear my sunglasses at night. I say to you now. I wear my sunglasses at night. I wear my sunglasses at night. I wear my sunglasses at night. I'm trying to I wear my sunglasses at night. I wear my sunglasses at night. I wear my sunglasses at night. I wear my sunglasses at night.
What happened to your friend? He didn't make it to the video?
Yeah, so since this was in the mid-pandemic, even though technically we were allowed to go outside and walk as long as we were 6 feet apart,
Right.
Our guitar player, Johnny Rockstar Pills, was too afraid to break quarantine and leave his house to come to the video. So we just said, you know, it'd be really funny if you just film yourself outside your house, walking around on the street like you started to walk but you didn't make it. Because everybody kept asking, like, oh my God, is Johnny out of the band? Is Johnny out of the band? Because they saw Xenia Crow, our drummer, they saw Jimmy Minge, the bass player, but they didn't see Johnny, and everybody got really nervous because everybody really loves this lineup of the band. This is the lineup of the band that was on tour last year, you know, opening for Static X all, you know, across America and stuff. So
Nice.
people were really invested in the members, and they got really nervous for a second. I'm like, don't
They
calm
thought they
down.
lost a member.
Still in the band. He's just, he didn't want to break quarantine.
Nice.
That's completely. I have a question. So, dude, I gotta know. I mean, Run DMC's been around for a while. What was it like to work with him?
Well, you know, I mean, I could sit here and talk about that for the next like hour. So let me put it this way. First of all, Run DMC was my favorite band ever when I was a kid growing up. Before I knew even about Van Halen, I knew about Run DMC. Michael Jackson and Run DMC. I actually liked Run DMC more than Michael Jackson. And in Run DMC, I liked DMC. He was my favorite rapper. I never imagined ever in my entire life that I'd get to work with the guy. And then I was able to do it in a music video called Noise Revolution, which I was the director for, which Static was in as well. And I figured, oh, you know, that's basically it. I kind of got my dream. I got to meet him and hung out with pictures. But then, you know, 6 years later, I ended up actually writing music with him. And it didn't really hit me until I was in the studio and I started to hear his voice play over the music that I had written. And I swear to you, like, I almost started to cry when it happened. It was just, it was like it was an incredibly spiritual experience. I mean, just the fact that I went from this kid and then, you know, all these years later, I'm actually writing music with him because that was just the first song we did. We have another one called It's Life, coming out after the man. So I've written a few actually with them, and it's crazy. And to blow your mind even more, Run DMC was just on the Grammys this year with Aerosmith, and I'm sitting watching the Grammys right over here. And after I'm done, I text him and I said, "Hey man, that was a great performance. You could kill it." He killed it. And he texts me back. And this is a guy that just got off the stage of the Grammys.
Holy shit!
That's very cool. That's very, very cool.
Yeah, it's not really, it's wild. I mean, I just talked to him on the phone because we had to do this video for the man maybe 2 weeks ago, and it just, even when he calls and I pick up the phone and it's him on the other line, I still have
Your little butterflies.
Yeah, it's just weird because he was a legitimate childhood hero of mine. I never thought anything like that would ever happen. So it's incredibly powerful, and very meaningful for me.
I love that you shared that.
Yeah,
Wow.
that's great. So you first got into the Michael Jackson and the rap, and then you discovered the hard rock, or how did you make that transition from, or just mix it together?
Well, I mean, yeah, Run DMC was definitely one of the first for me. But prior to that, I mean, I'm old enough to remember when Mental Health came out with Quiet Riot, Mental Health. And I listened to all those songs, and I liked all those songs. And but it wasn't until I started getting into full records until a bit later. And how I kind of made that transition, MTV obviously helped that, with Van Halen in 1984. Obviously also Run DMC working with Aerosmith with Walk This Way on the Raising Hell album. But also my older brother brought over an electric guitar one day, and I kind of just picked it up. And you got to understand also with Run DMC, you go back to some of those older records even before Raising Hell, like King of Rock, they had guitars on those records.
They did.
Like Rock Box and records like that. They were merging that stuff before anybody. So, and even the Beastie Boys had Kerry King from Slayer on a lot of that.
Guitar.
So it was kind of like a natural progression that got me, put into music, into more guitar, and then I started exploring, like everything. By the mid '80s, I was all over the place. But Run DMC, though, honestly, that was like the first big super group that I was just obsessed with as a kid. Michael Jackson, I saw Michael Jackson in '85 with the Jackson tours. I saw all the Jackson Brother on the Victory tour. Run DMC, unfortunately, I didn't get to see at that time, but yeah, it was a very, very big deal. So people always laugh at me. They go, "Oh, Michael Jackson, Run DMC," and then you get into Van Halen and all these other bands. I'm like, it is what it is. And
you got to start what you start with. That's how it works.
Yeah, but to this day, I still, I have very eclectic taste in music, and I don't have any. I'm not embarrassed about any of it. I love James Brown. I love Run DMC. Still love Michael Jackson, but I love Van Halen, and all those other guys from the '80s too. So
you need to have a big, big wide scope of music to get any type of new music to come out, because you kind of steal from everything. That's what I've noticed about musicians. You steal a little from the Motown, you steal a little from Michael Jackson. You combine it all because that's what you came up with.
Yeah, and you know what? That really, my interest in music and what I listen to tends to be more eclectic than the majority of people in rock music. I'm not going to say that necessarily makes me a better songwriter or a worse songwriter, because that's obviously debatable, and you can base it off in terms of sales or subjectivity, your subjective mind. But the fact is that just the other day, I'm not going to mention who, but I was sitting in the studio of a very big band. And they said, "Hey, what's your next single coming out after the acoustic song, which comes out next week?" I said, "Oh, it's a song that I wrote called Bleed You Away." And he goes, "Oh, well, do you have a video for it?" And I said, "Yeah, and we were talking about it because of the video, because it's very futuristic in space, kind of like the last video, but all future." Right. And he goes, "I want to see it." So he listened to the video, and he was like, I really like this video," but he goes, I don't even understand what your music is. I don't even get what it is. It's like you're not like anybody out there. And for every big band that I know that has listened to my music and said, you cannot pinpoint what your music is, what it is. It doesn't sound like anybody. To me, even though we never had the financial success and the platinum records that a lot of these other bands that I direct music videos for, and a lot of these people that I work with and I know, just to hear them say and admit, even privately, which I can never name their names again, "You know what, Matt? I don't know if it's good, I don't know if it's bad, but what you've done and what you sound like is unlike anything that's come before and since." And that means a lot to me, because that was really always my goal in terms of music. more than anything. I always wanted to be what I am. Now, that doesn't mean that my older music, because the band's been around for over 20 years, some music doesn't sound more like other bands than others, but as it's progressed, and now specifically in the last couple of years, we're finally getting to a point where even the big bands that I know behind closed doors will scratch their heads and admit to me, wow, this is really unlike anything that we heard. We don't really know how to place it. Yeah, it's got elements of this and that and this and that, but you synthesize them all to something that really, there's nobody else that really sounds like you guys.
Got it. Very cool.
I love the diversity. I absolutely appreciate it. You know, I played guitar when I was a little girl. I started playing when I was 5, and I played up until my 20s, but diversity was always my thing. Like, I love all different types of music, and I have to agree with you. Like, there isn't, in listening to you, it's like you have your own, your voice is just like mesmerizing, quite honestly. It's beautiful. I mean, it's rocking and it's great, but it's like you have a beautiful voice. I mean, there is no other way to put it. I realize I'm talking to a rock star, but it is, that's the way I perceive it. It's just so incredible. I want to talk about this next video we're going to play, and it's a Led Zeppelin tune.
Yeah.
Definitely. Yes.
Yeah, let's talk about that.
Yeah, so basically this was another really big, amazing opportunity for me. I don't know if we're running out of time, so I'll talk fast.
Nope.
No, you're all good.
Okay. My favorite band of all bands in the world is The Doors, and I love The Doors. I was able to actually work with some of them, and not musically, through film and video. I've managed to meet all of them except for Jim Morrison, obviously, who passed before I was born. But one of the most defining moments in my favorite concerts ever was when half the Doors reunited, the keyboard player Ray Manzarek as well as the guitar player Robbie Krieger. They came together and they went on tour again years ago when Ray Manzarek was still alive, and they got a guy to sing named Dave Brock, who was actually a Morrison tribute guy. So he kind of looked like Morrison, but he did a phenomenal job singing the lyrics. But then when they asked the original drummer, John Densmore, to continue to play in the band, John Densmore did not like that singer. So he did not want to play in the band, so they had to get a new drummer. So they got a guy named Ty Dennis. He joined the reformed Doors, which was called the Doors of the 21st Century with Ian Astbury, and he was in that band playing drums with the original Doors members for 9 years.
Wow.
So when I went to go see the Orange County show, which was the last show that they ever played before Ray Manzarek passed away, 10,000 people down in Orange County. It was the 50th anniversary of the LA Woman album. I went to the show not knowing who the drummer was, knowing who the other 3 guys were, obviously. It was an amazing show. You can go on YouTube and still see it. It was absolutely insane. And over the course of the evening, Ray Manzarek said, hey, and everybody give it up for Ty Dennis on the drums. And I immediately had like a massive jealous streak, because this guy was living the dream that I always imagined of singing in the Doors. And here he was playing with the original Doors members for 9 years. Fast forward years later, we end up meeting. I end up shooting music videos with Ty Dennis with him in the music videos. And he's a really nice guy and incredibly talented, and a far more accomplished musician than I am, actually. And not so much so that even the Doors music doesn't really show what he's capable of doing in terms of drums. So we become friends, and he has me out to more shows with Robbie Krieger, from the guitar player from the Doors. I end up meeting Robbie Krieger, going backstage, whatever, all this stuff. Fast forward even more years later, I hit him up 2 months ago, and I said, Ty, I have a great idea. Everybody's been hearing you play Doors music for 9 years. I go, nobody realizes the level of drummer that you are. I go, I have a great idea. How about we do a Zeppelin song? Because we talked before about Zeppelin being like our second favorite band. Because that's my second favorite band. Like, I could never be Robert Plant, but I love Robert Plant.
Right? Oh my God.
He's a god in my he's the golden guy. And he goes, man, I love the idea. He goes, but I'm have to hear your version of the song. He goes, which one do you want to do? I go, how about we do the most crazy Zeppelin song there ever was? And he goes, what? I go, 4/6. It's the most deep track. Nobody knows it. It's crazy. It's the Zoso. It's in 5/4 and 6/8. Nobody can play it. That's why it's never covered, because it's that nuts. I go, but let's strip it down and let's make it even crazier. And he goes, okay, I'm with you on the idea. He goes, but honestly, Matt, he goes, can you sing this song? Because it's like the register of the song with Robert Plant is in a different hemisphere. And I go, look, dude, I go, I've already thought about it. I go, number one, we're going to tune the song an entire whole step down, so it makes it a little easier to sing. And secondly, I'll just take the song in parts. I go, let's be honest, I'm not going to go out and join Led Zeppelin. I don't have to sing this song live, so I can fake it a little bit, and I can just push my voice beyond the range of where it's normally at, as long as I take it in 3 parts. And then we just release it as a special thing, and then I'll get back to my normal register in terms of what I sing. And he goes, I hear you, but I have to hear it. So I did a scratch vocal right here in my home studio. I sent it off to him, and he goes, I can't believe that you pulled this off. He goes, I can't believe what you sounded like on this thing. He goes, people are going to be blown away when they hear you sing on this. He goes, it doesn't sound anything like you. It sounds like a version of like Robert Plant with Chris Cornell mixed. He goes, I can't believe your voice could actually handle it, but let's do it. So Ty,
Cool.
that he set up his camera, and he went to go record, and he did the song from one beginning all the way to the end, no overdubs, no post-production, nothing, live, 100%. Everything that you see and hear, he did without anything, no help, no Pro Tools, nothing. Then you can see it in the video. He does it from front to back, 100% real, and it's like drummers aren't able to do this anymore. This guy is on a different level. And like I said, this wasn't in 4/4. This was in 5/4 and 6/8. And he blasted it out front to back. And I was just like, it is such an honor, Ty, to be able to play with you and sing this song and do Zeppelin. Like, I'm blown away. So we did it. And I watched Robert Plant videos, and I stood like him in front of my microphone right here. And I was just like, please, the spirit of Robert Plant, if you're going to give me any power ever in my life, I need it right now. I have to hit these notes that are just not. I mean, you can hear me talk. I have a much lower voice. You know what I mean? Like, I'm much more like I can hit like occasional high notes, but I sing mainly more here. And I was like, here we go. Let's do this. And it just happened. So that's the story behind 4 Sticks. And yeah, you know, and that's the story of who this guy is that I played on 4 Sticks. And on this song, I played the bass, I played the guitars, and I sang it, and I produced it.
That was my next question. Wow, impressive, very impressive.
All right, guys, you ready to roll it?
Ready.
Let's do it.
You ready? All right. This is just so much fun. I can't even stand it. It's just great. All right. Oops. I was listening to it. Oopsie. Now you guys know what I was doing.
Yeah.
Oh, baby, it's quiet time. Oh, baby, I gotta fly. Gotta try to find a way. Gotta try to get away. 'Cause you know I gotta get away from the rain. Oh, baby, the river's red. Ah, baby, in my head. There's a funny feeling going on. I don't think I can hold on long. And when the owl's crying at night, oh, baby, baby, when the boys begin to cry, baby, baby, how do you feel? If the river runs dry, baby, how do you feel? Praise the baby, the rainbow sing. Baby, it's just a dance. Those who hide, their love to of life and ruin dreams that we all knew. And when the owls cry in the night, oh, baby, baby, when the birds begin to cry. Oh, baby, baby, how do you feel? If the river runs dry, baby, how do you feel? Time ago.
Very nice, Matt. Wow.
Oh my God!
Wow.
Dude, that was
Incredible,
killer,
dude.
man. Holy
Yeah.
shit.
And the thing about that was because Ty did it, the drummer did it in one take. I was like, you know what? For vocally for this, I'm not going to cheat. I did no vocal tune and no vocal dubs. So and that's my girlfriend. You just put up on the
Hi,
screen.
Adrian.
Is that you know what? I'm loving it. Adrian, I love you. She messaged Spirituality Gone Wild and she said his voice is so sexy. I was saying thank you. I'm so grateful she's watching. Hi.
Yeah, she must have think that because she's my girlfriend. So you know.
Well, she's got to think that. So
She has to do that.
That's
Yeah,
incredible.
I love that song. So yeah, no vocal dubs, no vocal tune. Everything that you heard is all natural. It's all real. So that was.
Where do you? Oh,
Wow.
so where do you see the music business going in the next year or so with the streaming albums? What do you think is going to be happening? It's crazy.
I don't know. I mean, it just all depends, honestly, on what happens with the live venues. That's it. Because either they're going to come back or they're not going to come back. And if they don't come back, things are going to change. But I think people are basically just holding out because they believe they're going to come back. That's why everybody booked their tours in 2021. And also, all you see labels and artists doing right now is just putting out new content to stay relevant.
Right.
And so I just think people are believing that it's going to come back and things will get back to normal next year. I think that's really the plan. If they didn't believe that, I don't think people would be booking all their tours in 2021 because that's all everybody's done. I mean, everybody from Guns N' Roses to Motley Crue to Static X. I mean, everybody's just going out next year.
And just keeping relevant, doing a video or two, and just keeping their name out there. Yeah,
people are doing lockdown challenges, just doing stuff right in their homes, and just whatever they can. You know, concerts from their homes, covers, collaborations, instrumentals. I just think people are still putting out music videos. I think they're just trying to stay out there. I've talked to a couple people in the business, and that's all they said. They're just saying, "Oh, we're just keeping our content relevant by putting more out there, just to keep their merch sales up, keep the possibility of ticket sales up when they do go back out on tour." I think it should probably go back to normal by next year because, I mean, we just had a crazy social experiment in the sense just this last week. If you looked at the size of the demonstrations, that were going on. I mean, in LA here on Sunday alone, there was 50,000 people on Hollywood Boulevard. So if everybody in LA isn't dead in 2 weeks, I think they're going to have to start loosening up the reins. I mean, especially in venues with sizes of like 500 to 3,000. How are they going to justify keeping those closed when they just had 50,000 people on Hollywood Boulevard on Sunday?
Correct.
You know,
yeah. I mean, what are you going
to hard to push that, you know?
Yeah, it's I don't know. Something's weird. Something's weird. I hope it all breaks away and we all go back to normal life. That's what I'm shooting for.
You know what? I have my thoughts on it. I'm gonna save them, but I'm gonna say this. I believe that by next year, one way or the other, stuff is gonna straighten itself out. And you know, there's a lot of reasons as to why that is. You can Google them, but by next year, I think they're gonna have it all pretty much worked out.
I agree. Yeah. Here we go.
I totally do.
Debbie, what you got?
I'll tell you what I've got. What I've got is a song called "Everyone Dies," and
is it the live version?
Yeah.
Well, I'm suspended.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's world famous. That was the very first.
Wow.
Go a little into this. Go a little bit into how you got into.
We got to explain this one because this one is rad. Okay, guys, you're not gonna believe what you're gonna see. I can promise you this.
Yeah, so I tend to forget about this point in my career because it was so long ago. So basically, the story is I think that both of you are probably around my age group. So you remember in the '90s, Marilyn Manson used to be a god. If he was like, you couldn't escape this guy if you put on blinders and earplugs.
Right.
So anyways, the problem with that being is that if you had long hair and you were skinny, you immediately, regardless of what you sounded like, were a Marilyn Manson ripoff.
Manson. And
I fell into that category, unfortunately, with my very first record. So my first record, Slacker Jesus, came out in 1999. The band was playing regionally since '96. The first record came out in '99. Came out actually before so many bands that people are household named Papa Roach, Linkin Park. We came out before all of them, believe it or not. And the problem is that when we came out, the record came out and the reviews basically said this is a combination of Korn meets Marilyn Manson. And I thought when that originally came out, I thought, wow, that's pretty cool because there's really nobody that's Korn and Marilyn Manson. We kind of have a Korn sound, but we're taking electronics and mixing it with that groove. Whereas Manson was more kind of on the Nine Inch Nails industrial side, and Korn was more like on the groove side, rap side. So I thought that was very original, but I was wrong. I got completely destroyed in the press. I was nothing but a Manson ripoff, even though they were saying this sounds like Manson and Korn, so just ignore it. You know what I mean? And so what ended up happening through touring and performing prior to the next record was it was basically 3 years of me getting compared to Marilyn Manson. And it didn't matter what show we played. It didn't matter what interview we did. It didn't matter what radio single we had. It was, this guy, Matt Zane, is a ripoff to Marilyn Manson. So my career was almost over before it started, quite honestly. And when we went to the next record, I did a spoken word record in between, which was spoken word poetry. And again, the press completely destroyed me because that wasn't different enough for Marilyn Manson, even though he never did spoken word. Apparently, they weren't going to give it to me. So we were like, okay, well, that's that. We started making the next record, and it happened to be our biggest record at the time. We didn't know that when we were making it. It was called Exit Through Fear. And when we were done with the record, I thought it was good, but I didn't know if it was good enough or different enough to pull us away from Manson, even though he, by that point, had gone into his rubber booby, white, red hair phase. You know what I mean?
Right, yeah.
So I thought, well, what can we do to kind of break that tie? And I thought to myself, well, I've always really been into performance. I've always loved Alice Cooper. I always loved G.G. Allen. I loved when, the Pink Floyd shows where they would have massive productions. And I thought, well, what could I do? And everybody's like, nothing. Everything's been done. And I thought, well, there's got to be something out there that nobody's ever done. Next thing you know, I'm on the TV. I see this guy named Joey Strange hang from hooks from his back from a helicopter, and he's getting flown over the Hollywood sign in Ripley's Believe It or Not. And I was like, I got to talk to that guy. And I ended up befriending that guy and discussing with him. I said, hey, this is going to be a crazy idea, but what if a singer suspended with hooks through his flesh and tried to sing? And he goes, I don't know. It's never been done before. Like, it seems impossible.
There you go.
The lack of air and stuff like that. So I called up my record label and I said, yeah, I got this great idea. I'm going to suspend for the next video, and we're going to ultimately bring this from music video all the way to a live show. And they're like, yeah, it sounds interesting, but we already had a band that did that. And they sent me a band where a guy put rope around his ankles and just hung upside down. I'm like, I don't think you understand what I'm talking about here. Nobody got it. It was so far out there that nobody understood what the hell I was even discussing. So we ended up doing the video, Nothing, which you can see on YouTube, where I suspended, and everybody was there. Revolver, Metal Hammer, Uranium.
Oh, the Download 2006, right?
Was that?
Download 2006?
Well, no, this was just the video. And then from there, we went and did a live show of it where we actually had Jay Gordon from Orgy come and join us. And then it just kept getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger until finally we get called to do the Download Festival, 80,000 people, with Slayer, System of a Down, and Slipknot. And we're going to open the show in front of 80,000 people. And they're like, could you do this for an entire set? And I'm like, it's never been done before. I've only done it for 3 songs and for music videos. But you know what? For 80,000 people to open up for Slayer, well, let's give it a shot. So we were actually on a tour over in Europe for 3 months at that time. I was exhausted.
Wow.
And we finished that tour. And then we went to the festival for a couple of days. You know, I tried to rest up the best that I could and ate a lot of food. And we just went and we did it, man. And we went and walked out, and they pierced me backstage. I was actually in Ozzy Osbourne's trailer. And we were the only one that got to be in there, like where Ozzy's trailer was. And they put it on the jumbo screens, and you can hear 80,000 people start to scream when they see the hooks go through my back. And then they walked me out into the crowd, and I requested that they play Passion of the Christ soundtrack while I was getting strung up. And the moment I go up, all of a sudden you see 80,000 people rush the stage, and then I look down on the side of the stage, and you can see all these huge bands there, from Slayer, and guys from Slipknot. You know, they're all standing on the side of the stage watching us. Now, we had some fame in England at that time, but not to the extent of playing with these bands. This was like a massive jump up for us. And then I just happened to pull it off. We did it. We did the entire set while suspended. And the BBC covered it, which was like the biggest television show. We got nominated for like a massive award. We lost, I think, to the London Symphony Orchestra that year. But yeah, it was just absolute chaos when that happened. And that was like the peak in the beginning of when I brought suspension out to the masses, and I was the first rock singer in history to ever suspend and sing. And that later, you know, had its consequences or its reactions, but that was the first time it had ever been done.
Wow.
Kick Chris Angel's ass.
So
there you go.
About is that after I did that show, Chris Angel actually decided to do a suspension called a Superman suspension, which is horizontal, with 8 hooks across his body, and he was going to break the world record for hanging as long as you can with suspension. And he actually managed to get the world record. So after I did the Download performance, I did a few other suspension performances, but in 2008, I came out publicly and I said, I'm going to beat Chris Angel's record of longest suspension in Las Vegas live in front of thousands of people. And I said, not only am I going to beat it, instead of doing a horizontal 8-hook suspension, I'm going to do a vertical with only 4 hooks. So I cut the number of hooks in half. I switched the position of my body to a more difficult position. And then I actually beat his world record. And then that was the beginning of when Chris Angel banned me and all talk of me off of his websites and refused to acknowledge my existence in all interviews because he wanted to try to keep it secret. So that's what they were talking about.
Wow. Impressive.
Holy cow.
Wow.
I'm going to play this video, everybody. But before I do, I just got to know, you really had hooks put through your skin.
So what they do is they take these shark hooks that they use for shark hunting.
Yeah.
They take these hollow needles that actually have holes through them and put them on the front of the hooks. So when they push them through your back, it actually takes out chunks of skin. Be able to fit the hook all the way through your back. And that's why you only have so many suspensions in you before you have too much scar tissue, and that messes up your back and your structural composition and the way that your body balances itself. So I actually don't do suspensions anymore. And that's part of the reason. The other reason is a lot of people also don't know this because people have selective memories, and I did most of my famous stuff over 15 years ago. When later in life, I actually met Dave Navarro from Jane's Addiction, and Dave Navarro got into suspension, and he incorporated it into all of the Jane's Addiction shows starting in 2006 or 7 or 9, maybe like 4 years after I did it. So what happened was because they were such a massive band, people ultimately thought they were the ones that brought suspension into rock and roll, and I couldn't get booked anymore into festivals because everybody thought it was Jane's Addiction's thing when in actuality it was Society 1. So unfortunately, that's the other reason why I don't do suspension anymore, because I'm not going to do it for $10. Whereas before I would get paid. And it's not just about a money thing, but it's also just about the fact that I don't want people to look at me and go, oh, he's ripping off Jane's Addiction. When in actuality, it was somewhat, they were more inspired by my suspension versus the other way around. And I just don't want to go through that explanation and trying to prove. So I stopped doing suspensions in 2008.
Okay, I'm curious, like what kind of breathing techniques? I mean, you had to really, in order for you had to have been like Bruce Lee, man, to really get centered into your body and really control your breathing and whatnot in order to be able to handle that kind of, to handle it. And then you're singing on top of it. I mean, that's just, how did you handle that? That's mind control, man.
How do you practice for something like that?
Well, I've been doing yoga since I was 18, so I'm really familiar with the pranayama, which is the breathing exercises within yoga, as well as the meditational aspects, as well as the discipline that it takes to also be able to accept pain with specific postures and be able to breathe into that. So I had a really good understanding of my body and breath and the mind prior to getting into suspension. In addition to that, I started to get into abstaining practices, like abstaining from sex, for short periods of time, 2 to 3 to 4 weeks, to build up excessive amounts of testosterone and tension, hoping that it would be released through the pain and being able to utilize it as kind of fuel to get myself through that as well. And it worked for the most part. The most challenging suspension I ever did was the 6-hour one where I broke Chris Angel's record. That was the one that left post-traumatic stress syndrome, that had like a long-lasting negative effects that really took me to places and beyond even almost what I thought I was going to be able to do, because that was the most intense and frightening thing I ever went through in my entire life. And many people have tried to break that record since then, but nobody has even come close.
Wow. Well, we're gonna play. They're asking me to play the video. Play the video. Okay, we're gonna play the video. This is
video.
All right. So we are about to see something extremely. This is the wow.
Yeah.
All I can say is wow. Y'all ready for this? Let's do it.
Hit it.
All right.
If you want to be top of the list, put your fist up in the air! Come on! Now everybody scream! Want the money, want your pick up inside! Get the power you believe! I'll take your bitch and burn all that you need! We'll preach it out with such respect! 3 years later, and it's still in effect! Get closer, sound! Now come closer, so my bitches give me time! Everyone else, everyone else, everyone else, everyone else, break! Everyone else, everyone else, kill! Everyone else, crash everyone time! Knock out of the game! You say I'm proud with no shame! Bring 'em on all the time! Chapter to the rules, so terrifying! It's all you have! Flow it everything that you can grasp! Still in the last of the hell! Yes, I'm not all you have to sell! Deal! Everyone else sucks! Everyone else every time! Break! Everyone else sucks! Everyone else kill! Everyone else because everyone's time! I won't take you! I won't break you! One day when it's so fucking sick. I don't think of his filthy dick. I'm on his ass, I'm having more. What do you think you are? Look at so much of rock. I'm gonna get that money back. Could you ever get it more? What you give you little hoarder all the same? That's what you're for. Kill everyone up. Fist up in the air! Let's yell die! 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 Die!
Ow.
Wow.
My back hurts just watching that.
This is the question, why it all happened and how I got the idea. After I started doing that, the Manson comparisons were over.
I can see that. I can
They
see
never,
that,
they
man.
never mentioned us in the same sentence ever again after 2002. It was like done immediately. Like they were like, you know what? Manson's cool, ripping pages out of Bibles, spitting on people, but this guy, he's lost his mind. So it was done. That was it.
I would have to agree on that. I'd have to agree on that one.
Oh my God. Well, you know, I mean, just it was extreme, and it extreme everything. It's just like you just can't stop watching it because it's just so fascinating. I'm just sitting there watching you, and then afterwards, I'm noticing that, like, I mean, you're just you're there, you're coming back into your body almost right at that end. I mean, were you at one point like kind of out of your body a little bit?
Well, I mean, most musicians will tell you, I mean, when you play in front of that many people just in general, I mean, it's an otherworldly experience. Most musicians never get to experience that in their life. Maybe they get 1,000 people, maybe 5,000, maybe 10,000 if they're lucky, but 80,000, it's very rare. I mean, there's a handful of bands that get to do that. So that alone will put you in an altered state of consciousness. When you add into the fact that we are creating rock history simultaneously with that, plus the mere and being conscious of it, and the fact that they were saying it before you even went on stage, in addition to the fact of being suspended and going through the process of being able to do that, and then also singing longer than I ever did, even though back then I used to yell a lot more than I did sing. Yeah, I mean, there was definitely an altered state of consciousness, and yeah, it was probably one of the greatest moments in my life. I mean, I still look back on that with a lot of fondness. The only thing that I have an issue with it is that, unfortunately, due to the fact that, you know, it was done prior to the advent of YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, you know, I unfortunately have been looked over a lot in terms of the music industry, because I just wasn't around during a time that where a lot of the things that I was doing, or even still doing to this day, are recognized by large amounts of people. And that's just kind of the unfortunate part of it. When people see that, sometimes they write me and go, "Oh, like Jane's Addiction." And don't get me wrong, I love Jane's Addiction. So it's not an issue with that. It's just the mere fact of having to hear it. Like, no, I didn't take this from somebody. This was another thing that I did that was unique and had never been done before.
And plus, you got to hang out on Ozzy's trailer.
What the hell?
That's worth it right there.
Oh my God! Seriously.
Believe it or not, though, I didn't get to meet him that time, but I did meet him earlier in the years. I once somehow got up in one of a private balcony in a show up here in LA. That was his balcony. And he went on his balcony to listen to the show that we were at, and he couldn't believe, he didn't know how I was still there, because security cleared everybody out but me and my publicist. So he wasn't really happy about that. You know what I mean? But I got to meet him that time.
That is just seriously, I'm appreciating this 1,000 times over. But what I'm really excited about for you, Matt, is that you're getting ready to bust out with Run DMC with this new song coming out, and I'm super excited about that. And thank you for sharing today. So many beautiful moments. Oh my God, it's just crazy rock and roll greatness is what it is. I have to tell you though, these girls are discussing whether or not, okay, they want to know, do you miss your long hair?
You know, I don't miss it, but my girlfriend Adrienne loves long hair. So when we started dating, she was like, "You have to grow your hair back," and I'm not going to tell her no. So I'm growing back. You know what I mean? You know, so. Look, if you knew her, you as a man, Scott, you would be like, "Oh, I'm going to do whatever the girl says." Anyway.
Whatever she wants.
Yeah, she's pretty special. So yeah,
love that.
She loves the long hair, so it's growing. I haven't cut it since the pandemic. It's and the goal is, I said to her, "How long do I have to grow it again?" She's like, "As long as before." And I'm like, "Oh God," because it was a pain in the butt when it was like down here. So for those that are watching that see this on the replay, especially all the women that say grow your hair back, well, guess what? It's growing back. It was short for the last, it was short for like the last 3 years, 4 years. Prior to that, it was shaved on the sides, and just kind of like a little long on top. But the whole thing is just coming back. So everybody can thank Adrienne as far as that's concerned.
Thank you, Adrienne.
Well, thank you. Yes, and Matt, we really want to thank you for coming on the Plowzone Gone Wild, Spirituality Gone Wild, and you have a new release with Run DMC called The Man. Looking forward to seeing that in the next month.
That comes out next month. The very next video, just so to know, is called The Soul Searches, and it comes out next week, and it's a music video, and the first acoustic track that Society One has done in about 3 years. So looking very, very forward to that coming out. It's acoustic. It's a music video. It comes out next week, and it's called The Soul Searches. And you can be able to see that on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, everywhere.
I love it.
Excellent.
Love it. All right. Well, thank you so very much again, Matt. And all right, everybody, thank you very, very much. And tune in next week because that's my puppy. Because when the new release comes out, send us a link so that we can play it during the next Plowzone Gone Wild.
Promo it for you, Matt.
Absolutely, would love to. And Debbie, you'll like it. I'm singing very nice in it.
I love that. Well, you know what? Okay. So I saw Pantera open. I opened for Skid Row, and
no, the other way.
I kid you not. I'm not joking. I'm serious.
Really?
I'm serious. It was, yes. It was Pantera opened for Skid Row. You guys
On
can
the-
only imagine.
Slave to the Grind tour. Okay, Slave to the Grind tour.
Yeah, way long ago. Long ago. So, no, actually, I love all different types of music, and I'm appreciating the variety that you've brought forward to this world. And keep creating, Matt, because you are definitely incredible. Wonderful musician, incredible videographer. I mean, you're really talented, and this world needs more wonderful talent like you. And I just appreciating the talent that you bring. So, thank you.
I appreciate it, and you don't have to worry about me. It's my food for my soul, it's my creation. So, for the people that are just finding out about us now, we have almost a song coming out every month for the rest of the year with music videos. So stay tuned.
Nice.
Rock on, rock on.
Thank
All
you,
right,
Matt
peace
Zane.
out.
Thank you, Matt.